Tax relief is on its way to Delawareans. Find out how much and how soon. Plus, classes are about to get longer for some of our college students here in Delaware. And the first state's most famous chefs want to cook something special up just for you. We'll tell you all about it. Those stories and more coming up next. Hello and welcome to DETV News. I'm Matt Ford. Thanks so much for joining us. 2 people were injured in a house fire Tuesday morning in the Knollwood neighborhood in Claymont. Authorities received calls about a fire in a duplex on Everett Avenue, and when firefighters arrived, they reported flames engulfing the rear of one of the units. The victims were found outside of the home in the front yard when first responders got to the scene. A 20-year-old woman and 13-year-old boy were taken to the hospital where they were both reported in serious condition with smoke inhalation. Firefighters worked about 45 minutes to extinguish the flames. The Delaware State Fire Marshal's office is investigating and says the fire caused about $200,000 in damage. The Red Cross was called in to assist several adults and a child who were displaced by the fire. A Felton man and a Newark woman are accused in a March murder in Newark. State police have arrested 44-year-old Charles Lowe and 28-year-old Sierra Steiner in connection with the death of a man whose body was found inside a car along the 2400 block of Old County Road on March 19th. Investigators determined the victim was in his car with Steiner and pulled off the road onto private property. Lowe parked his car behind the victim's, walked up to the victim's car, and the victim tried to drive off, but Lowe apparently shot him. The victim crashed his car into a tree, and Lowe and Steiner left the scene in Lowe's car. SWAT members spotted Lowe and Steiner in a car in Elkton this past weekend, and the pair tried to drive away but crashed into a Walmart parking lot. The duo is now behind bars on murder, firearms, and conspiracy charges. And the House of Representatives last week passed a bill that is expected to provide tax relief to tens of thousands of Delawareans. Lawmakers say the legislation would help middle-class residents pay fewer taxes by increasing the standard deduction to $5,700. That's an increase about 75%. It would be $11,400 for those filing jointly. State officials have said this would start showing up in people's paychecks in 2024. The bill would also increase the refundable earned income tax credit to 7.5%, with the goal of helping lower-income Delawareans with children. Governor Carney first announced this tax relief proposal at the start of this year when he unveiled his recommended budget for fiscal year 2024. The goal of the tax policy, Carney says, was to incentivize people to work. The legislation now heads to the Senate, where it is expected to pass. The General Assembly returns from its Easter break on April 25th. And state retirees' health care plan MedicFill supplement is expected to extend to 2024 due to ongoing litigation. A group of retirees who formed what's called Rise Delaware filed a lawsuit in the fall seeking to block the state's plan to transition their health care plan to Medicare Advantage. State officials said this would decrease the state's ballooning unfunded liability, yet retirees feared they might be denied care under a new plan. The lawsuit argued Delaware officials failed to follow administrative procedures when implementing the change, specifically by not allowing retirees to offer their input. The state extended the MedicFill plan to last until the end of this year, following the October court ruling. Because litigation continues, the State Employee Benefits Committee is set to further extend the current retiree health care plan at its April 24th meeting. And the University of Delaware plans to increase the length of its classes for the 2023-24 academic year. The university announced classes at the school will be lengthened by just 5 minutes beginning in the fall. Classes held 3 times a week will increase from 50 minutes to 55 minutes, while classes held twice a week will increase from 75 to 80 minutes. 3-hour class slots, which help meet once a week, will be held for the same duration time. The 15-minute break between scheduled classes is provided to allow entrance and departure time for students and instructors, according to the registrar's office. The change comes after a university assessment in preparation for reaccreditation was made. Chase and numerous community partners are hosting a record clearance clinic and employment fair this Friday, April 14th at the Chase Fieldhouse. Those attending the event will be able to meet with attorney volunteers to discuss available options and next steps for seeking an expungement or a pardon. Attendees will also be able to speak to participating employers about potential second chance employment opportunities. There will be nearly 20 participating employers, including Chase, Code Differently, Drone Workforce Solutions, and Walmart, among many others. If you're an employer implementing second chance employment initiatives and will consider applicants with an arrest or conviction record, you're encouraged to join this networking event. For more information, head to the website on your screen. And the Delaware Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control is inviting the public to celebrate Earth Day by touring a tidal salt marsh and discovering one of what they say is the most amazing ecosystems on Earth. DENREC's Aquatic Resources Education Center will host a special Marsh Madness program highlighting the tidal salt marsh on Saturday, April 22nd from 10 a.m. to noon. Educators from the Aquatic Resources Education Center will lead tours for an up-close view of the tidal salt marsh and aquatic life found there. The salt marsh connects to the Delaware Bay through a network of tidal streams where visitors can watch fiddler crabs on the banks during low tide and sometimes see egrets, herons, and other species on the marsh. Participants are encouraged to dress for the weather and bring drinking water, sunscreen, and insect repellent. For more information or directions to Aquatic Resources Education Center, visit the DENREC events calendar. It's pretty rare to have over a dozen of some of the best-known chefs in Delaware all cooking for you. It's even more unusual for it to be a 4-hour all-you-can-eat affair, but that's what foodies will find if they attend this year's Chefs Unite to Save Mickey. It's being held Monday, April 17th from 6 to 10 p.m. This unique fundraiser is in its 3rd year. An owner and chef of Newark area restaurant Skipjack Dining, Donnie Merrill, has once again attracted a deep bench of upstate chefs to help raise money to help his 9-year-old daughter Michaela, who suffers from a rare neurodegenerative condition. Chefs Unite will once again take over the dining room at Deerfield Golf Club. Organizers hope the event will raise $40,000. 14 chefs will be representing their restaurants in support of Merrill and his wife Molly, whose nonprofit Save Mickey Association raises funds to help fund research projects working towards a cure for the terminal disease. The local, national, and celebrity chefs cooking up a storm at the 3rd annual Chefs Unite include Chef Robbie Jester, winner of Netflix Pressure Cooker, and Food Network's Beat Bobby Flay, as well as our very own Chef Dana of Desserts by Dana. Tickets are available at savemickey.com. It includes all the dishes from the chef stations, along with a top-shelf open bar. And speaking of celebrities, Delaware's own Aubrey Plaza was in town over this past Easter weekend. She was spotted out and about at Bardea on North Market Street. Aubrey is an Ursuline alum and rose to fame playing April Ludgate on the NBC sitcom Parks and Recreation. Last year, she starred in the 2nd season of the HBO hit series The White Lotus, for which she received a Screen Actors Guild Award and a nomination for a Golden Globe Award. It's always good to see Aubrey home. And that's going to do it for this edition of DETV News. Be sure to follow us across your favorite social media platforms and take a look at our website. That's detvch.com. With this edition of DETV News, I'm Matt Ford. We'll see you again tomorrow.